Hello, everybody. Uh, Welcome to today's session on IPMAT 2024 IIM Indore. We're going to basically go ahead and talk a little bit about the form filling. First and foremost, want to congratulate each and everybody who's gone ahead and gotten a call from IIM Indore. It's a very prestigious institute, and you've done very well. You've ensured that you've cleared the first barrier, but the second barrier is now staring you in your face. This session is all about that to help you clear that second barrier. But before we kickstart, I would also like to bring in Amitendra into the session to welcome all of you. And I hope to hear a few hello, highs from you all so that we know that we're audible and you can hear us and you're all excited for this session. And we know that there are going to be a plethora of doubts coming from you as well. So it'll be great to know how many of you all are already there and who we are interacting with. Yeah, Amitendra.
Yeah, so thanks, Gautam. Thanks for that quick setting up the tone, and congratulations, everyone. So the first hurdle has been crossed, and now one of the biggest, I would say, and this is going to be a crucial one, but it's going to be, I think, one hurdle which you'll definitely enjoy. I believe more than writing the examination itself, people do enjoy the interviews actually because that give you an opportunity to also meet with the new people out there actually. And this time what is great about this, I believe, is finally we are going back to offline interviews actually. So it's no
Oh,
longer
yeah.
going to be an online one, and
Brilliant.
so I think that's great from a student perspective actually, because online,
Absolutely.
whatever you do actually at the end of the day, you're not sure actually how it has gone. But when you are present, you can see the expressions of the faculty members as well. So you do understand how well, and then you get the opportunity to interact with them offline as well because they'll be present. And this time they have created a few locations where you can go, which you already submitted in your application form. So that you'll get to know around, I believe, 18th evening, not before that, because they have mentioned that next steps will be informed on 18th of June actually. So till time, it's a wait and watch. But this step is going to be very, very crucial, which we are going to cover today, and we'll also give you some important tips around how to prepare for the interviews. That's very, very important. So, Gautam, we can quickly set the agenda for the session.
Perfect. Yeah, yeah. So let's move on to the next slide. Before that, hello, hi. So I see a lot of people saying hello. Great to have you all here. Lydia, Kushpreet, Sriram, Shravan, Athena, Sandeep. Hello, everybody. Hello from all of us. And yeah, I'm quite sure everybody who's a part of this session has gotten that call. So yeah, once again, congratulations from us. To kickstart this session, to make it very clear what it is that we're going to cover, what's the agenda in today's session? Well, it's as follows. Number one, we're going to talk a little bit more about the selection process, what the process exactly is. I'm sure most of you all know, but still, just think of it as a reminder, just for completeness sake. Second, what the cutoffs are. So you already know what your score is. You already know what the cutoffs are because IIM Indore has announced that. But a little data, we can go one step further and actually identify that. If you look at it from a holistic perspective, there is 100 marks to get into IIM Indore. 65 marks is from your aptitude test score, which is the ATS, and 35 marks is going to be from your interview. Actually, sitting here today, you can know exactly how much you're going to score out of that 65 because you know your score. You also know the highest possible ATS score in your category. So we will help you identify how to calculate how much you are going to get out of 65. Also, from there, you can get a decent idea कि out of the 35, मतलब remaining 35 marks से मुझे कितना चाहिए. Decent idea. I'm not saying exact नहीं, but a decent idea कि मेरे को कितना चाहिए होगा. That means how well does my interview need to go for me to have a good chance of cracking it. And trust me, you will realize that for each and every one of you, interview is going to play a major role, irrespective of how well you've gone ahead and done in the written exam. And then post that, that will lead us to basically the personal data form which you already have with you. We'll go ahead and help you fill that data form. Both Amitendra and me will give you a few important pointers that you need to keep in mind when you go ahead and fill that form. And finally, we'll go ahead and help you answer the second question in that data form, which is predominantly going to be about your career plan and why IPM. In other words, that is something that we like to call a statement of purpose. Who I am, a little bit about that, why I want to do an IPM, why from IIM Indore, what do I think I will go ahead and do in the future, and so on and so forth. So we'll go ahead and help you in each of these. That's predominantly what the agenda is. Amitendra, you can probably kickstart the session by taking us through the selection process and the cutoffs. But before that, I'll leave you with this question here that Ludair has, which is by what dates will the interviews be held? So in case you want to shed some light on that. approximate dates?
Yeah, sure. So right now, quickly looking at the timeline. So all of you have received, you have got your shortlist letters from IIM Indore, and I'm sure you are aware the next step is to fill the personal data form, where something is already pre-filled, some of your details which you submitted through the application. So this form has to be submitted by 10th of June, which is Monday. So you will be submitting your form by 10th of June by 11:55 p.m. So don't wait for the last moment. That is what my suggestion would be. But please ensure that you take your own time before you submit the application form, because these two are going to be very, very crucial submissions when it comes to your career plan, which Gautam mentioned, why IPM and why from IIM Indore, and also mentioning your scholastic achievements, because some of your questions in the interview will be definitely based on this, and there is a reason for that. That's why they are asking that. And next step is what they have informed is in the shortlist letter itself, that next step will be informed to candidates on 18th of June. Now, if I take into consideration all this, and I'm sure IIM Indore will consider all this, उनको भी पता है कि बच्चे अलग अलग सिटीज में, और हमने सिर्फ 5 या 6 सिटीज में इंटरव्यूज का प्लान किया है जो हमने एप्लीकेशन फॉर्म में दिया था, which means the students will be required to travel as well to those cities. तो मेरा मानना है कि the earliest possible which I see is कि 21st या 22nd, most probably it is going to be 22nd and 23rd, which is going to be the weekend actually, and this is where I believe the interviews will be conducted. But 18 June को इतना तो इंश्योर हो जाएगा कि आपको डेट्स पता लग जाएंगे, and you'll get to know, because you'll have to make your travel plans as well in some cases, because अगर आप उन बड़े शहरों में नहीं हो जहाँ पे इंटरव्यूज कंडक्ट हो रहे हैं, like Delhi, Bombay, Indore, so if you're not there in those big cities, then you'll have to travel. तो मुझे लगता है उसको IIM Indore कंसिडर करेगा, because you'll have to plan your logistics and everything actually. So most probably the earliest which I see is 22nd. हो सकता है कि उसके बाद वाले वीक में 24th के आसपास भी स्टार्ट हो, but you'll definitely get 3-4 days time before you go ahead, which
So
means from here
Amitendra,
on, yeah, GB.
yeah, yeah. So Amitendra, if I'm not wrong, what you're basically trying to state is the worst case situation is 14 days from today
Yeah,
before your interview will happen, which means 2 weeks. So if you are going to be slightly unlucky, your interview is in 2 weeks. That means you only have 2 weeks. So if you are already a part of our IPM program, then you know that interview preparation is a part of this program. You know that we're going to kickstart the interview preparation. Think of this as a prelude to that, and then there are a lot of sessions coming. We'll talk about it. But in case you aren't a part of Career Launcher, you've not gone ahead and enrolled with us, this is a great opportunity to ensure that you enroll at least for the interview, which is the PDP Personality Development Program. The team has gone ahead and put that link in the chat box as well. So in case you're interested, go ahead and have a look at it. The reason I'm stating is 2 weeks, it might sound a lot, it's not a lot. Think of the amount of time you put in to prepare for this exam. You don't want these last 2 weeks and a lack of effort here to spoil the entire 1 year or 6 months or 8 months or 2 years that you put in to reach this stage. So do ensure you put your best foot forward, and those who are already a part of our program, whether classroom, online, and so on and so forth, this is a part of your program. Don't worry, think of this as a prelude, and we have a lot of sessions coming. Yeah,
yeah. Thanks, GB. Thanks for pointing that out.
sure. Yeah.
So, quickly running through you guys, some of you are definitely aware of this, and in fact, most of you are aware of this. But please understand, we get this queries a lot of time, and I wanted to cover this. Ki yesterday, I also got a query through one of the students. क्या दोबारा से shortlist announce होगा? नहीं. So this is one final shortlist. So 800 plus students have been shortlisted from all the different categories combined together. And this shortlist has been done on what you have done in the IPMAT examination in different categories. So they have given cutoffs, sectional cutoffs, like what IIM Indore does. So they go for sectional cutoff for each of the areas. And this year, of course, more or less on the expected lines, the cutoff has been there. So now if I look at this, no further shortlisting will be happen, and as I said earlier कि interviews जो है इस बार offline है, जो कि अच्छी news है. मैंने already explain कर दिया कि जो बहुत ही अच्छी news है. अब जो प्रोसेस है यहाँ से, जो पूरा सिलेक्शन प्रोसेस है, दैट विल बी अमंग दो स्टूडेंट्स हु हैव बीन शॉर्टलिस्टेड. तो जो 823 स्टूडेंट्स को कॉल आए हैं फ्रॉम ऑल कैटेगरीज कंबाइंड, अब ये नेक्स्ट स्टेप में आगे बढ़ रहे हैं. दे विल बी अपीयरिंग फॉर द पर्सनल इंटरव्यू एज पर द डेट्स व्हिच विल बी गिवन टू देम ऑन 18th of June. and the final selection will depend on what these students have done in the IPMAT examination, whatever your score you have got. I'm sure you are aware, one question they have deleted and given 4 marks to each one in the section 2 actually. So there's nothing which changes out there. So everybody has been awarded that 4 marks. And then the personal interview for these students will carry 35% weightage. तो ये जो 35% वेटेज है, ये बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट है, इसको ध्यान में रखना है। कि बहुत लोगों को ये लगता है ना कि मतलब सर 65% यहाँ पर है, वहां पर बहुत ज्यादा वेटेज है। अब जो एग्जाम दे लिया, मेरा स्कोर कम है या ज्यादा है, अब 35% से क्या फर्क पड़ता है? ये 35% बहुत फर्क पड़ता है। यहाँ पर आप कितना अच्छा परफॉर्म करते हो उसके ऊपर डिपेंड करता है कि आपका सिलेक्शन होगा या नहीं होगा। तो जैसे अभी गौतम सर ने बोला था कि 14 डेज वर्स्ट केस मान के चलते हैं, अगर आप लकी हो तो शायद 15-16 डेज मिल जाएंगे, बट 14 डेज है अभी, 2 वीक्स, एंड बहुत ज्यादा समय नहीं है, लेकिन उसको प्रिपेयर अगर अच्छे से करना चाहोगे, बिकॉज एक चीज ध्यान रखो, इस समय आपके पास और कुछ करने को है नहीं। जिपमेट एग्जाम ओवर हो चुका है, जिपमेट का रिजल्ट आने में टाइम है, और जिपमेट में इंटरव्यूज इन्वॉल्व नहीं है। IIM रोहतक के इंटरव्यूज ऑलरेडी कंडक्ट किए जा चुके हैं, तो अब जितने भी इंस्टीट्यूशंस थे उनके इंटरव्यूज ऑलमोस्ट ओवर हैं, एक्सेप्ट सिम्बायोसिस में आपका इंटरव्यू होगा, जो बहुत ही आसान होता है। इट्स लाइक कम्युनिकेटिंग, चैट कर रहे हैं आप पैनल मेंबर्स के साथ, इट्स लाइक दैट। बट दिस इज, यहाँ पर दे आर वेरी स्पेसिफिक अबाउट सर्टेन एस्पेक्ट्स व्हिच आई विल कवर इन अ शॉर्ट व्हाइल। तो क्या क्या रेडीनेस है वो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, आप लोगों को रेडी होना बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट है। तो ये जो नेक्स्ट 14 डेज हैं, ये 35% को पूरा एफर्ट लगाना बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट है, और आई थिंक यू कैन स्टिल go ahead and have your chances out there. Now this is what has been declared. तो डेफिनेटली सबको पता है कि एसए में परफॉर्मेंस आप सबका अच्छा था, तो इस बार कट ऑफ एकदम सीधा से ऊपर गया, बट बाकी जगह पे ऑन द एक्सपेक्टेड लाइंस नीचे आया है। तो ये सेक्शनल कट ऑफ्स हैं, और जो मिनिमम और मैक्सिमम एटीएस स्कोर है, जो एप्टीट्यूड टेस्ट स्कोर है, जो फॉर्मूला वो लोग यूज करते हैं यहाँ पे, एंड विच ऑल्सो गिव्स अस अ क्लियर इंडिकेशन कि जब वो कट ऑफ डिसाइड करते हैं, जो स्टूडेंट शॉर्टलिस्ट होते हैं, तो 50% वेटेज गोज टू योर वर्बल एबिलिटी स्कोर, 25% ईच टू दी 2 क्वांटिटेटिव सेक्शन स्कोर। अब इसमें ये फॉर्मूला है कैंडिडेट स्कोर माइनस मिनिमम स्कोर। तो जो मिनिमम स्कोर आया था, रॉ स्कोर जिसका भी 1 से ऊपर था, उसको कंसिडर किया जाता है। सो बेस्ड ऑन दैट दे हैव अराइव्ड टू दिस नंबर की ईडब्ल्यूएस में मिनिमम स्कोर, मिनिमम एटीएस स्कोर इज 30.63 एंड देन मैक्सिमम एटीएस स्कोर। सिमिलरली फॉर अ जनरल कैटेगरी यू कैन सी दिस इज डेफिनेटली ऑन द हायर, एज एक्सपेक्टेड, ऑन द हायर साइड एज कंपेयर टू द अदर कैटेगरीज। तो और अगर मैं यहाँ पर देखता हूँ, तो यहाँ पर खास करके स्टूडेंट्स जिन्होंने अच्छा परफॉर्म किया है, they have a good chance as well. Gautam, your inputs over here.
Yeah, I think very, very important. And this is where I think you can go ahead and for your own self calculate कि मेरे को वो 65 में कितना मिलने वाला है, and thereby understand कि मेरे लिए interview कितनी now we Amitendra sir has already gone out and stated interview is important for everybody, but for you is it slightly more important than others is a very important aspect that you can identify here. How can you do that? Let's take general for example, and since Amitendra sir is writing, I will request him to write as I speak. So let's take general for example. We can see minimum ATS is 44.9, max is 86.3. Assume, I, or say assume you, somebody here, say Vishal, has gone ahead and scored, say, let's say he scored 55. Let's say he scored 55. In this ATS, the calculation is above, say वो ATS calculate करके 55 आया. Maximum क्या है? 86.3. So 55 upon 86.3, and this is out of 65. So 55 upon 86.3 into 65. That's the calculation that will come up. 55 divided by 86.3 into 65. Now, when you go ahead and calculate this, you will go ahead and see that is 40 something marks. That is 40 something marks. So 55 into 65 कर ले 6. अब mental math अगर करना है हमारे को क्या करेंगे, 65 into 5 करते 330, 5 तो 330 वहां आ गया, and 5 into 65 फिर से additional करना है. So if you'll go ahead and see, that's 40 something marks. Let's assume it's like 42, 43 marks. Okay. Now, assume that the cutoff overall to get that call is say about 60 marks. मेरे को 40 to 43 यहाँ आ गया. Overall cutoff is say 60 marks. That means I need to go ahead and score about 18, 19 marks out of the 35 in an interview to get a call. And that is because I scored 55. Now there could be somebody out there who has scored just 50. There could be somebody out there who has scored 65. So accordingly, the cutoff will keep changing. If you scored 50, you might need 16, 17 marks. if you sorry, if you scored 50, you might need 20, 21 marks. If you scored 70, you might need 14, 15 marks. So accordingly, you can identify what is the bare minimum that I need. Now, one caveat in that is, please keep this in mind. I am assuming that the overall cutoff would be 60. What if the overall cutoff is 65? Then that 18, 19 that we pointed out, add 5 marks to that. Suddenly it becomes 23, 24. So please keep this in mind, that while basis the score, you will understand how better I am, or how good my position is vis-a-vis the person or the people who are lower than me. You still don't know exactly how many marks you need in your interview. So if I was in your place at this point in time, I would turn around and state, anything less than 25, 27 out of 35 in an interview might not make it. Ho sakta hai you need only 15. But my mindset will be, anything less than 25, 27 is, it is going to be difficult. And if you're closer to the minimum ATS, look at that second column, the minimum ATS. If you're at 30.6, मतलब 31 EWS में, 45 general में, 22 NCOPC में, SC ST में 15, ST में you are at 0.4, PWD में you are at 1.15. If you are in this range, then you know कि मेरे को 35 में almost 35 के आसपास चाहिए. I need to be as close as possible to that 35 mark, which means interviews become important. I and the precursor to the interview is form filling. So filling these two questions correctly, and what do I mean by correctly? Ensuring that you're not going ahead and filling in mundane details. You're following the instructions that have been put there, and you're not going ahead and lying about anything. Don't make up stuff. Speak the truth. Talk about who you are as an individual. You as an individual are good enough. Have confidence in that. You don't need to faff around. You don't need to make up stuff. Stick to the truth. Just learn the ideal way of expressing the truth. That's about it. Yeah.
Thanks, GB. In fact, I'll take it forward. When you stated this, that probably if I look at the minimum ATS, and in some cases, probably I need 30 or 35 actually. Now, there is a possibility where students, we know all the mindset of the students and we have been students, so लोगों को लगता है कि यार फिर इतना एफर्ट लगाएं, क्या फायदा होगा, मेरा तो चलो वैसे भी नहीं होने वाला. So treat it like an election. अगर एक वोट जो होता है ना वो बहुत मैटर करता है. बहुत लोग ये सोच करके नहीं जाते. तुम्हारे जैसे बहुत लोग होंगे जो ये सोचेंगे कि शायद नहीं होगा. और last so many years of experience, I've been following this with the students, I've been training them. एक चीज तो बहुत क्लियर है बेटा, ये देखो, और खास करके जब से सीयूटी आया है, कुछ बच्चे ऐसे होते हैं जो डीयू प्रेफर करते हैं. तो अगर आप इस इंटरव्यूज को अच्छे से करते हो इसको, तो डेफिनेटली आपके चांसेस बढ़ जाएंगे. वेटिंग भी क्लियर होता है यहाँ पे, बहुत ज्यादा नहीं, बट डेफिनेटली कुछ बच्चे डेफिनेटली इधर उधर मूव करते हैं, तो वो चीज ध्यान में रखना. तो उस सबको ध्यान में रखते हुए, एवरी एस्पेक्ट व्हेन यू टेक केयर ऑफ, please put all sincerity over here to prepare. Ye 2 weeks can make or break it for you. Actually, I think that is very, very important. Just to
I'll
quickly
just add one thing to that, Amitendra. That, exactly what you said, carrying forward from there, think of it as an election. This year's general election to fill you with a lot of confidence, right? The results of this year's general election to fill you with a lot of confidence कि कुछ भी हो सकता है. Unexpected है to a lot, expected है to a lot जो हुआ. Some people were not expecting because they were probably running away from the truth. So you don't run away from the truth. For all you know, like Amitendra sir pointed out, there could be the first one, there are 150 seats. What if the first 150 students decide नहीं हम CUET के through और के जा रहे हैं? It could be,
and
right?
I've seen people
Possible.
joining St. Stephen's, leaving IIM Indore, people joining Hindu, leaving IIM Indore actually. So that's how
Yeah,
it
yeah.
is.
We've seen this even during MBA, right? People leave IIM Ahmedabad, people leave IIM Bangalore, IIM Calcutta, and most of the students here know about these colleges because you're preparing for IIM Indore. You've heard of IIM ABC as well, so you know
Yeah.
about these colleges. So it's very relevant. Yeah, Miten.
Definitely. So that's the basically looking at the finally looking at the sum total of the sectional cutoffs actually. तो definitely एक चीज तो क्लियर है कि तुम्हारा स्कोर इतना तो डेफिनेटली आया है, तभी आप यहाँ पर हो, और इससे ज्यादा ही है. तो कट ऑफ को ध्यान में रखते हुए, गिव ऑल सीरियसनेस, वो 35% जो है, 35 मार्क्स है, वो बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट है. Now, at this stage, what you are supposed to do? At this stage, you have been given a form which you have to fill actually, and most of the details are pre-filled because you gave that information in the application form. So what they have done is they have done your task a little easier. तुम्हारा जो काम है वो थोड़ा आसान कर दिया है कि भैया मैं तुम्हें कुछ चीजें प्रीफिल करके दे रहा हूँ, तुम्हें सर्टिफिकेट्स अपलोड करनी है. सो वट एवर कैटेगरी यू बिलोंग टू, आप वो सर्टिफिकेट्स डेफिनेटली अपलोड करना. नाउ एक चीज का ध्यान रखना, आई एम श्योर यू हैव डन दिस एक्चुअली, क्योंकि अब इसमें तो खैर ज्यादा समय नहीं है. बार बार बोल रहे थे हम लोग, जब मैंने फॉर्म फिलिंग किया था तब भी मैंने बोला था कि जो ईडब्ल्यूएस कैटेगरी के स्टूडेंट्स हैं, जो एनसी ओबीसी कैटेगरी के स्टूडेंट्स हैं, यू हैव टू have your certificates which has been issued on or after 1st of April 2024, because they are income based actually, and it is considered that every year 1st April the even in government the operations happen and the salary might go up, so wo change ho jata hai certificate. So that's based on that. You have to fill in your caste name over there, but name, gender, DOB category ये सब already pre-filled आया है. आपको अपना marksheet upload करना है academic details में, अगर already मतलब available था, जो students last year complete कर चुके थे, those who had passed last year, for you you would have already uploaded that. But if you passed this year, your results were announced in the month of May while the examination was happening, then you have to upload your mark sheet if it is available right now. So for most of the board it is available now. One query which I have received from the students earlier as well is in different context as well, and I'm sure this applies here. If CBSE has not sent the physical mark sheet to school, what do I do now? Now please understand, today how did you check your results when the results were declared? You got it from DigiLocker. Today, every student has a DigiLocker account created and you get your results over there. So just download that DigiLocker account. It's the same thing which will come in the physical copy. It might look colorful. That's it. So वही result उठा करके यहाँ पर upload करना है. But please ensure whatever data you have to fill in, जो भी data है वो fill in कर रहे हो, वो बिल्कुल सही होना चाहिए. स्पेसिफिकेशंस, जो साइज स्पेसिफिकेशन से सर्टिफिकेट को फॉलो करोगे तभी अपलोड होगा. बट डेटा आपका केयरफुली बिल्कुल सही ढंग से फिल करो. I suggest do a 2 or 3 rounds of previews before you submit this actually. तो प्रीव्यू करो, एकदम कॉन्फिडेंट हो जाओ, प्रिंट आउट निकालो और उसके बाद फाइनल सबमिशन करो. दैट इज व्हाट माय एडवाइस हो. दिस पार्ट इज डेफिनेटली द मोस्ट इजीएस्ट पार्ट. इसमें कोई इशू नहीं है, ये बहुत इजी पार्ट है. But next comes your 2 questions actually. So ये जब part of fill कर लेते हो, the first part which is personal data form के अंदर personal details and academic details, once you do this, then these 2 question appears on the screen. Initially you don't see them. Now these 2 questions are very very important, because they will ask questions on what you state over here, and as Gautam used the word statement of purpose, this is what it is all about actually. So while they are asking you about your achievements, you have to be careful about certain things over there. But when it comes to your career plan, they really want to understand, do you have clarity? That is important. Do you have your own vision ready as far as your career is concerned? या बस ब्लाइंडली चल रहे हैं कि लोगों ने बता दिया कि आईपीएम करना है तो कर लो, आईपीएम अच्छा है, IIM इंदौर चले जाएंगे तो अच्छे पैकेजेस मिल जाएंगे. Is it like that way? No, they want to really have students who really want to be there, who have clarity about their careers. Why do they want to get into the business world of business? Why do they want to pursue this program? So that is very very important, and every year they ask questions on that. So typically, I'll just give you an idea about what happens in the IIM interview. Indore, typically the interview lasts maximum of 15 minutes. In some cases, on an average, it is around 10 to 12 minutes. Maximum it is 15 to 16 minutes. Now, what happens over here is they ask you those questions which you have mentioned over here. They ask you about, definitely they'll ask about you, but they'll ask you about your career plans, whatever you have written over here. And if there is a mismatch, I think that becomes a drawback. For those students who did it during COVID, they, in fact, remember, you may not be aware, but what happened when COVID was happening, going on, the IIM Indore actually wanted students to record a video and send to them. With the same questions, they had to record a video as if they are appearing for an interview. So what is the purpose over here? The purpose is, first of all, your clarity, your vision. Second is, you do not write it like somebody gave you in writing and you copy paste कर दिया कि किसी से लिखवा लिया. आपको वो क्लैरिटी है, इसके ऊपर वो क्वेश्चन पूछेंगे, आपके विजन के ऊपर क्वेश्चन पूछेंगे, क्यों आप आना चाहते हो यहाँ पर, हाउ डज इट हेल्प यू, एंड हाउ यू स्टेट योर आंसर्स इज हाउ दे पिक अप द क्वेश्चंस. एंड डेफिनेटली दे विल कम टू एकेडमिक्स, बट आई विल कम टू दैट इन अ शॉर्ट व्हाइल. आई थिंक वी शुड डेफिनेटली लुक एट दिस. So the first one is listing your Scholastic award or scholarships conferred on you during secondary as well as higher secondary. So of course higher secondary becomes priority. Higher secondary means classes 11th and 12th. and your secondary is your class 10th, class 9. Go beyond that actually. And here you have to talk about your curricular, co-curricular, extracurricular, and they've defined the level. What level actually? National level, state level, district level. And that's how the hierarchy works. That's how the hierarchy works actually. So if you have done something at the national level, definitely definitely you will have that advantage over other candidates, especially when we look at this particular aspect of the form. But also remember, don't just go and blindly state anything. You have to प्रोड्यूस सर्टिफिकेट्स एट द टाइम ऑफ फिजिकल रजिस्ट्रेशन. सो जब आपका एडमिशन हो जाएगा, जब आप IIM इंदौर में जाओगे, तो ये सर्टिफिकेट जो आप यहाँ पर जितनी चीजें स्टेट करने वाले वो आपको दिखानी पड़ेंगी. यू हैव टू वैलिडेट योर क्लेम एक्चुअली कि ओके, आई फॉर एग्जांपल आई प्लेड basketball at national level or maybe state level. You'll have to have those documents submitted over there. आपको सबमिट करना पड़ेगा, आपको वो प्रूफ सबमिट करना पड़ेगा. तो कुछ भी नहीं फिल कर सकते हैं, बहुत केयरफुली इसको फिल करना है. गौतम, डेफिनेटली आई वुड लाइक योर इनपुट्स ओवर हियर. एंड
Yeah, surely. So if we can just go a couple of clicks, if we just do that, and I think Amitendra sir pointed this out already, but these are the important pointers in this question. There are three important pointers. Point number one, they're asking about curricular, co-curricular, extracurricular. What's the difference? Curricular means academic, anything that you've done at an academic level. It could be, for example, you've done something related to Olympiads, say a national level competition, an Olympiad. It could be at a regional level. It could have been you've reached national level, you've at district level, whatever it is. Olympiad, if you've participated at a particular level, ensure you put that in. That's an example. It could be anything. You could have played, from an extracurricular perspective, it could have been something like you've gone ahead and played a tennis competition, you've participated in table tennis, some other sports, chess, or something like that. You've done it at a particular level, or you've done music. Many of you all could have gone ahead and done music. You might have completed it to a particular grade, so that could be a particular level as well. You've completed the exams, you've cleared that exam. It could be stuff like karate. I'm a black belt, I'm this, I'm that, stuff like that. Or if we move to co-curriculars, what are co-curriculars? Co-curricular is elocution, debating. Some of you all in class 11, 12, in case you've done moot court, probably at a particular level, might not have done it, but in case you've done it, so I'm just putting everything out there. How to differentiate? Curricular means academic, co-curricular means in and around academics, having an academic bent of mind, which is like debating, elocution, moot courts and stuff like that. And finally, extracurricular includes stuff like sports, music, and so on and so forth. So please ensure that you're able to differentiate between these three, and then please ensure that you only look at district, state, national. Now you'll turn around and say, sir, I've only done something at my school level. Please then don't put it, but say you've done it at an inter-school level, and that inter-school level became interstate, or was say for example, Lamatnia Calcutta is playing against Lamatnia Lucknow. You can probably go ahead and state that that might have happened at a district level or something like that, but that is the last resort. That's not the ideal thing to go ahead and put in case you don't have anything else. You can put that in, and then if you're questioned, you can turn around and state, so that's how I interpreted it, there wasn't anything else, that's why I put it. But that's the last resort. Ideal is going ahead and looking at things that you've done at a district, state, national level, which is why I'm thinking, think of these. During our time, there used to be even national level aptitude tests, a Renault aptitude test or something like that. If you participated in some sort of national level aptitude test, go ahead and put it in. You can put that in. You can put your rank in. You might have scored a 99 percentile in mathematics there. Great. I scored 99 percentile in mathematics in Renault aptitude test or in class 8. Valid. Chalega. Dalo. Whatever you feel is relevant, that's academic, that's curricular, put it in. And finally, please keep this in mind, very, very important. Don't randomly make up stuff. Something I pointed out right up front, I'm pointing it out here as well. Only put those things in which you can prove, because they've categorically mentioned it as well. You may need to produce certificates at the time of physical registration if admitted in support of your claim. So one is they might ask you during interview. Second is wo nahi hua, physical registration if admitted, that means you've gotten the convert, you are going to IIM Indore. At that time also they might ask for certain documents, and if at that time you do not produce it, even then they can turn around and say, sorry, not accepting you. So don't think, oh, I'll take a chance, interview mein ho gaya, great, then I'm through. No. Then when you finally get admitted, at that time they might turn around and ask you. So please don't take a chance here. please ensure you only mention those things for which you have proofs. Say hypothetically you don't have proof for something, but say you participated in some sort of a sport competition, at your district level or a state level or something, and you don't have a proof for it, say you've lost it, but newspaper mein kabhi mera naam aaya tha, I participated, regional newspaper mein it had come out, and it's there, my name is there, oh, Vishal Chaturvedi went ahead and he stood this. Carry that, carry that as a printout. That is some sort of validation. You've lost it, I understand, carry this. At least you have some proof, some physical proof to go ahead and back your claim. That's predominantly what I would like to add. Yeah, Mitin.
Yeah, in fact, Gautam, we already have a question to this. But I would like to add before I get this question for you. Somebody has asked, what if I don't have anything? While you explained, but I think we should cover once again. But I think यहाँ पर ना एक चीज और है कि please understand, guys. Now, till last year, for the last couple of years, ever since COVID was there, so till last year they were asking this physical registration and if admitted this part, because you were going to the campus after everything was over actually. So the online interviews were happening online. So you could only meet them. The physical verification was only possible when you were in the campus, and probably I believe the question has not been changed. A copy pasted job might have been done, but please ensure to carry this during your physical interviews. So they might ask you, I'm sure there would be a proper communication when they come back for the next step announcement on 18th of June. I'm sure they will announce this as well. But मुझे लगता है कि शायद ये कॉपी पेस्ट रह गया होगा, क्योंकि ये लास्ट ईयर हर साल ये क्वेश्चन पूछा जाता है. तो पहले क्या होता था कि आप कैंपस में जब जाते थे, when you were there in the campus, you had to give everything in physical. Now you will be meeting them, the campus representatives, the professors out there during the physical interview itself. So they would definitely want to have a look at it, whatever you have submitted. Okay, so please be careful. आप इसको लेकर के जाना. What if I don't have anything? So that's a question, Gautam. That's come from Khushpreet.
Well, if you don't have, you don't have. As simple as that. Let's not make up stuff. If you feel that there is something that you can showcase as a district level or a state level, something that you actually do have, if you feel that it can be showcased like that, great. If not, don't force it. Don't force it. Don't make up stuff. As I said, being original, being true to your own self, having confidence in your own innate ability and your own profile is very important. Making up stuff and faffing around is not going to help. That is almost a clear cut indicator of you not being selected. So I will clearly put that out. Yeah, Mitin.
Yeah, sure. So let's move on to the next one, which is
Yeah. Before that, I
about.
think there's just one more question, which is Amaya is asking Trinity College classical piano certificates. Yeah, absolutely, they work. Class 8 works, guys. I will even say you don't necessarily have to turn around and say class 10, class 9, class 8. Agar koi, national level, well renowned scholarship test you wrote in class 6, also it works. Don't go lower. 6, 7, 8. 6, 7 works. It's okay. Ideal is 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Obviously. Ideal is 8 to 12. 6, 7 hai, chalega. You don't need to turn around and say I won't, because they are asking at a particular level, district, state, national. Generally 6, 7 में district, state, national ज़्यादा होता नहीं. अगर है मतलब आपने कुछ ढंग का ही किया है, so please put it there. Yeah, sorry, Amit.
And इसमें भी एक चीज है ना कि so when you are doing all this, when you are putting all these documents in place, when you are submitting this, of course the levels is important, but also the recency is important. So अगर
Yeah,
recent में कुछ बहुत बड़ा अचीव किया तो वो पहले लेस डाउन करो, वो पहले आएगा, फिर उसके बाद आएगा. तो मान लो क्लास 12th
correct.
में आपने कुछ नेशनल लेवल अचीव किया या डिस्ट्रिक्ट लेवल अचीव किया, स्टेट लेवल, तो दैट शुड कम ऑन टॉप, देन योर नेक्स्ट लेवल कम्स एक्चुअली. So follow
Absolutely.
this order. और अब जब डाल भी रहे हो इसको फॉर्म में, when you are submitting this, when you are writing this in the form, keep this order in mind. Of course, national, state, district, that would be the hierarchy. And when it comes to classes, your hierarchy would be 12th, 11th, 10th, that on actually. Now see which is bigger. Now if let's say class 10th may achieve something at the national level, which I've not done 11th and 12th, I'll still put that on top because वो national level पे है. They have specifically mentioned these three words over there: district, state and national. But national top पे आएगा, state उसके बाद आएगा, district उसके बाद आएगा. तो ये hierarchy को follow करना, that is important. Okay,
Correct.
and I think the most crucial question now comes up. They are asking you to, and they want themselves to understand who is this candidate all about, and actually वो क्यों, कौन है ये बंदा, कौन है ये जो आना चाह रहा है, उसको clarity है कि नहीं actually. Welcome over to you.
Yeah, so very interesting question, right? And trust me, this is a question that is asked even for students appearing for their CAT exam. 3-4 years down the line, they'll appear for CAT and then want to get into one of the top B schools, the IIMs and others. At that time, also, this becomes a very, very important question, which is, in other words, it's known as a statement of purpose. It's a statement, you speaking about your purpose of doing this program, your purpose of what you want to do in life, your purpose of doing this program from this college. So it's your purpose. Why? And so the way I look at this question is, I always like to break it up into what are the different parts that you should address. So the very first part starts with, this is their first glimpse of you. This is the first time that they get to meet you. Even now it is on paper when they read this, so but this is the first time they're actually getting to meet you, the person. So please go ahead and talk about you, the person. I don't want to know your achievement. That happened in the previous question. You already told me मैंने district ये किया, state ये किया, वो क्या. No, but tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell me a little bit about your family. Tell me a little bit about where you come from, your background. Tell me a little bit about your couple of your experiences that have framed you, that have framed your thought process. Then basis all of that, basis what you experience, basis somebody you might idolize. It could be your father, it could be your grandfather, could be your mother, could be anybody. Basis that, you might also look up to a particular career. This is what I want to do in my life. For example, hypothetically, say, in my family everybody has worked in the finance sector. Say my father works, in the State Bank of India. My sister has gone ahead and done an MBA, and she's also working in the finance sector, say at JP Morgan. I'm giving you a random example. So I have been surrounded by finance my whole life. घर आता हूँ, CNBC आवाज चल जाता है. So मैं finance ही देख रहा हूँ. I'm understanding how the stock market is moving. I have a little bit of knowledge about how the stock market moves. I have seen what has been happening over the last couple of months. I am aware of that. Hence, I feel at this point in time, considering I'm just 16, 17, 18 years old, I feel at this point in time that finance is something I'm interested in and I want to make my career there. That makes a lot of sense. Nobody is turning around and stating that your career goal has to be one thing that you mentioned today and it won't change for the rest of your life. No, it is career goal as of today, as of your experiences today, as of what you think today. So whatever it is, and I've just given you a simple example of finance, and that could be because of the experiences, because of your surroundings. For somebody else it could be, I love creativity. I spend a lot of time online reading up on digital marketing. I spend a lot of time reading up on advertisements and how people think and create advertisements. I like to go ahead on YouTube, watch emotional advertisements or out of the box advertisements. So I'm very opinionated about it. I feel that these are the 4-5 things people should keep in mind, and I'm very interested in it. Lovely, you could probably be one of those who might want to make a career in marketing. Mention that. So that's how you should start thinking. Third, now that you've told me a little bit about yourself, now that you've told me, oh, I feel that this is what I would want to do in my life, now how does an IPM program help you achieve this? As simple as that. Understand the dots, everything gets connected. This is who I am, this is what I want to do in my life, and this is how I feel that IPM program is going to help me achieve this goal in the most efficient manner, most logical manner. And guess what? These are the traits that I have, and the IPM program complements those traits. Or the reverse. I feel that, I am not opened up a lot. I feel that I don't interact a lot with people. And I think the IPM program is going to help me pull me out of that. It is going to help me understand and explore people, talk to people, understand what are the different opinions that come onto the table, and thereby come up with a better understanding of situations. That could be one. So you feel that this program is going to help you grow, it's going to help you come out of your cocoon. So whatever it is, so understand the flow that we've stated. Talk a little bit about yourself, talk a little bit about your career, talk a little bit about how the program. Please keep in mind, till now I have not spoken about IIM Indore. I'm talking about the program, how the 5-year program. Within the program, what can you talk about? I've looked at the curriculum. In the first year, they teach these sort of subjects. I've seen in the second year, they also go a little into psychology and sociology, which is something that a normal MBA does not have. I think that provides me with a lot of interest, and it provides me with a complete holistic understanding and learning. That is something that is going to hold me in good stead. It's a 5-year program, so it's way more comprehensive and consolidated. Those sort of things, that's how the IPM program helps you. Then talking about your traits which you feel will be complemented by the program, or the elements where you think you can grow, and then finally turning around and stating, ये मैं हूं, ये career goal है. Now I've explained why IPM. Now let me explain why IPM from IIM Indore. It is the trend setter. It is the benchmark. It is the college which started this entire thing. It is the one which is known in the industry. They have these sort of faculty. They have these sort of courses. They have these sort of sessions. This is what interests me. Combining all of that into an answer is predominantly what we are looking at, which is why we call this, it is an absolute statement of purpose. It provides a mirror to me about who it is that I'm dealing with and talking to. And then in the interview, I will ask you elements around this to validate that what you stated is true and there is actually an element of passion and want to get into this program and achieve what you've gone ahead and stated. That's the funda. Yeah, Mitin.
Wonderfully explained, GB. In fact, मैं सिर्फ इतना चीज ऐड करूंगा यहाँ पे. What I want to ask each one of you to do is, you remember you have to submit this by 10th of June, 11:55 p.m. Of course, I'm not advising you to go for the last moment actually. So you must keep your goal of submitting by Monday morning itself, first half, maybe around that. But next 2 days, 48 hours from here onwards, what you should do is you should write, revise, and you'll have to do basically the 3-4 version इसके बनाने पड़ेंगे. वो important है. Just don't go ahead, write anything and submit. Now that you have understood, you still might require some time. So after this session, start framing your answers. Start working on that. Actually, you might need to sit with your family members, parents, of course, and of course connect with your mentors. आप अपने mentors centers पे जाकर के definitely उनसे बात करो. Have your answers reviewed before you submit this. It is very, very important because this is something which is going to be used as part of the interview. Whatever information you furnish over here, that becomes one of the bases. One of the most important aspects which most interviewees do not understand is how whatever you say in the interview, or if like this kind of situation where something has been asked from you which you have to submit before your interview starts, that becomes your basis. It is not the interviewer who is doing the job, it is you who is doing the job. You decide which way the interview goes actually. So aap interview lead karte ho, what you put here is something which will direct your interview to a certain extent. So don't ignore this. This is going to be, these two questions are going to be very, very crucial, especially the career plan, because even if they don't ask you about your achievements, one question which has been common across every candidate over the years is, why do you wish to join IIM Indore? And this is where it becomes very clear what you have stated over here. And then again, वहां पर ये नहीं होना चाहिए कि वहां पर कुछ और बोल रहे हैं, यहाँ पर कुछ और fill कर दिया है, वो नहीं होना चाहिए. Okay, that you must take care of.
Perfect. So there are a couple of questions here, Mitin. Let's pick them up.
Yeah.
Ameya is asking us, sir, can we mention personality qualities like communication or leadership skills in this question? Interesting question. I would turn around and state the objective behind this question is not to understand those traits, but if you feel you have those traits and you have proof of that. For example, say a leadership quality in the sense, say I was a school captain, or say you turn around and say I was a school prefect, and I think that has held me in good stead, and these are the two learnings that I had from that, and I feel that holds me in good stead, or something like that. If it fits in with the entire puzzle, only then mention it, not from the perspective of yaar ye fake dete hain, ye communicate, ye dikha dete hain, ये leadership skill. No, don't force fit things. Don't put in things ki, oh, this will put me in a good light. No, don't do that. If it fits in, then yes. Second, Pranav is asking, sir, I have a project lead role for a NASA AMES space settlement program, but I am not confident about answering random questions about space as it was in grade 7. Very interesting, because this is where what some this is something that many of you all will have, which is I have some achievement, but if they question me on the achievement, I might not be able to answer. So that's where you have to ensure that the next 2 weeks are well spent, right? It's not only about preparing for these interview questions, which we like to call HR questions. Tell me something about yourself. Why do you want to do an IPM? Where do you see yourself in 10, 15, 20 years? Not just all of that. What are your strengths, weaknesses? But also questions like this, which we like to call technical questions. Technical questions have two parts. One technical question part is, say I am from commerce, then knowing my basics of accountancy, knowing my basics of business studies, knowing my basics of economics. I am from science, knowing my basics of physics, chemistry, math. I am from humanities, knowing my basics of history, geography, sociology, psychology, whichever subject that optional that you picked up. In the same way, you should know basics around things that you're mentioning in the form. If you're saying it was a space project that I worked on, and then I turn around and ask you, is Pluto now a planet or not a planet, and you still don't know, that's a problem. If I ask you which is the brightest star in the ecosystem and you don't know, then that's a problem. If I ask you a couple of questions about constellation, then you do not know, that's a problem. So this is the time to prepare for all of these technicals. You have 2 weeks in hand, do not waste them. So I would turn around and state, Pranav, it depends upon you. If you feel yes, 2 weeks I will go ahead and prep for this and I'll be confident enough I can answer it, mention it. If you feel no, this is another thing, I already have too many things to do, then don't even mention it. So please keep that in mind. Ameya is saying, Ameya and Shravan, Mitendra, they are asking how long should an SOP be? My recommendation generally is not more than 500 words. What do you state?
Yeah, no, no. I would want to keep it little less than that. Actually, not so. What you said around
Not
500
more.
words,
Not more, yeah.
not more. Definitely not more. So you do see, please. You have to present facts over here. Don't have to create a storyline over here. 500 is is what it is actually. But I'm sure when you start typing, they'll present some limit over there as well. Right now, it is not there in the form. Okay, so moving on.
Just one last question, Amitin.
Okay,
Anurag, and I'll throw this at you.
okay.
Anurag is telling,
Any review for IFMR
yes,
IPM?
correct. I'll
Okay.
throw that at you.
So FMR is Bangalore. My first take would be to follow the IIMs actually, and you have still better institutions because they are starting. It's a recent thing actually. So there are institutions which are already established. I'm sure you guys have already applied to TAPME, IFT Kakinada is there, Nalsar is there, Nirma University is there. So keep that as a backup option because it's going to be a new program altogether over there. So unless you have other choices and better BBA choices, then you can think of it actually. IFMR has been a decent name in management education. Uh, Personal interviews. Now, what are the steps they are going to follow right now? I've already mentioned this. So, expectation is around 26 June. The interviews will start. You'll get to know on 18th of June. Now, please understand when it comes to IIM Indore, I'm telling you this from the past year's experience. They focus a lot on your academic background as well. So it's the time, next 14 days, you have to also revise your class 12 syllabus, especially the core subjects. Now, for example, you studied physics, chemistry, and mathematics. Now, one thing I have always seen that when it comes to such background, physics, chemistry, and mathematics, most of the questions come from either mathematics or physics, actually, and predominantly mathematics. Similarly, if you come from humanities background, you would have questions coming from pol science as well as history, actually. Commerce, definitely economics becomes their favorite. But this one element is very, very common. You expect around 50% to 60% of your questions, 50% of the questions coming from your academic content, actually. So, whatever interview, whatever time it goes, you'll have your 50% questions coming from your academics, what you have studied in class 12, which means revising once again. You did that job for your class 12, and those who passed out last year, you retook the exam this year. For you it becomes a hill task because you might have not studied for last 1 year academic content. I think this is the time you should definitely do. But जो students अभी जिन्होंने 12th का exam दिया था, board exam, all this is fresh in your mind. You might believe that I've forgotten, but next 2 weeks put wholehearted effort over here because they might ask you your favorite subject, they might not ask you your favorite subject, but because you have submitted the same in the application form, they know what is the combination, what is the background you come from. Now, then comes the some business related questions are definitely there, policies related especially, and considering the current timeline, yesterday I believe the monetary policies was announced actually, and repo rate was unchanged. All this was there in news. 2 weeks down the line, this is still a very important information, and they have asked questions about the monetary institutions in our country, the banks, the RBI, its policies actually. अभी जैसे इलेक्शन चल रहा है, खत्म हुआ है, तो इलेक्शंस के ऊपर आपके ओपिनियंस हो सकते हैं, क्वेश्चंस पूछे जा सकते हैं. Then that is what is important issues. So important issues when you are going for an IIM interview is not just from the business, but even from the world of polity, social issues actually. specifically be aware. Most candidates do not research about their own place of residence, the state of residence. People have been asked questions from these IIMs about, like, somebody from Delhi, about the political situation in Delhi, about the ministers in Delhi. People have been asked about questions like, when did Delhi became the capital of the country? So, and I'm sure 99% students may not be aware of this, because this is something which you don't learn usually as part of your curriculum, especially in the last 2 years. So, your interview is going to be a mix of your personality based questions, your career based questions, but also including general awareness around important issues, important policies, monetary institutions, as well as your academic content, which contains 50% kind of weightage. Also depends on the interviewer and how does it flow actually. तो जो 12th की बुक्स हैं वो वापस ओपन करो, उसको रिवाइज करो, वो बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट है, उसको मिस आउट नहीं कर सकते हो, क्योंकि वो 50% क्वेश्चन वहां पर पूछेंगे ही पूछेंगे. मैथ्स में ग्राफ्स पूछते हैं, बायोलॉजी में फंडामेंटल्स पूछते हैं, डेफिनेशंस पूछते हैं. ऑल दिस बिकम्स इंपॉर्टेंट. वर्ल्ड हिस्ट्री, अगर हिस्ट्री के स्टूडेंट हो तो वर्ल्ड हिस्ट्री की भी बात होती है, इंडियन हिस्ट्री की भी बात होती है. सो एकेडमिक कंटेंट इज वेरी वेरी क्रूशियल. अब ये दो, अब आई थिंक अब समझ में आ गया होगा कि ये 2 हफ्ते, व्हेन गौतम स्टार्टेड एंड सेड कि ये 2 हफ्ते कम पड़ जाएंगे, अब समझ में आ रहा होगा कि ये 2 घंटे क्यों कम पड़ने वाले हैं. आई एम श्योर यू हैव रियलाइज दिस. सब कुछ अच्छा होगा, बट ये इंपॉर्टेंट है. ओके. रांची कट ऑफ देखो, रांची का जो कट ऑफ है वो जनरल कैटेगरी में मोस्ट लाइकली, अभी अनाउंस तो नहीं हुआ, बट मोस्ट लाइकली अगर आप देखोगे IIM इंदौर का जो कट ऑफ है, दैट इज अराउंड 173 इन जनरल कैटेगरी. आई क्विकली गो बैक देयर एक्चुअली एंड विल कम बैक वंस अगेन. सो ये जो है रांची का, इट इज एक्सपेक्टेड कि अराउंड 130 जाएगा जनरल कैटेगरी. सो दैट शुड बी द एक्सपेक्टेशन, अराउंड 130 के आसपास होना चाहिए. यहाँ 100 होना चाहिए अकॉर्डिंगली. यहाँ पर आप मतलब उस तरीके से 30 to 40 नंबर लेस एज व्हाट इज बीन द ओवरऑल सेक्शनल टुगेदर ओवर हियर एक्चुअली. Okay. I'll come back to the questions once again, and so we'll take. There are a couple of questions. We'll take that once again. Before that, तो ये focus करो. For those who are CL students, you have this as part. So आपको you'll be connect with your mentors, and before you submit this form, तो पहले तो form दिखाना है mentors को. इसके साथ साथ अपने interviews के लिए बात करनी है, and I'm sure your mentors are already working on this. तो CL students, आपको तो already 2 mock PIs और ये sessions planned हैं, which will be happening next week. Those who are non-CL students, this is your opportunity. You have converted your first hurdle, crack कर लिया. Second hurdle, you can't keep that to chance. Don't leave it to chance. This is a very important stage for you. We have launched our IPM PDP program, and one of the most sought after programs by the students who receive these calls actually. So we'll be doing live sessions on interview concepts. We'll be doing personal mentorship over here. You'll be assigned a mentor from an IIM background. We'll also have 2 mock PIs at certain intervals to give you feedback which you can work upon, so that you are able to convert your calls with ease. The link for the same is pinned to the comment box, also given in the description. Please click on that, know more about the program, and do join the program so that we start your preparation for the interviews. Okay. Gautam, anything you would like before we go to the conclusion part and finally take the questions, the couple of questions which are there?
Sorry, yeah, I was muted by mistake. Yeah, so I was saying that's about it. But the only aspect, that something that we've already spoken about and something that I just want to reiterate is, guys, don't rest on your laurels. Don't think मेरा written exam बहुत अच्छा गया, so I am through. On the flip side, don't think I have just cleared the cutoff, so now I can't get into IIM Indore, because it's an uphill task scoring 30 35 in an interview. Interviews are game changers. Every year we see students who barely clear the cutoff of the written exam but end up at IIM Indore because they had a fabulous interview. On the flip side, there are students who were very close to the highest marks that somebody has scored in the written exam, but they don't clear and don't get into IIM Indore because they don't crack the interview. We've seen multiple examples at both extremes, and the only reason for that is one of them turned around and stated, the next 2 to 3 weeks I can still go ahead, work hard, make a lot of difference. The other turned around and stated, I've worked hard for 2 years, now is the time to chill. That this is not the time to chill. The time to chill will be after the interview. The next 2 to 3 weeks are very, very important. put your foot on the pedal, put your foot on the accelerator. There are multiple things to be done from the HR questions perspective that we just discussed, from the technical question perspective, which is your class 11, 12 syllabus, and then finally also from a general perspective in terms of what is happening in and around you in the world. So please ensure that you're going ahead, putting your best foot forward. And we'll be coming back intermittently. For those of you who are enrolled with us, we'll be coming back regularly. But even then, in case you do not enroll with us, we will have one or two more sessions on YouTube with respect to that. But they might not be sufficient on their own, is something that I want to add. There is a lot more that needs to be done. So please ensure that you attend all the sessions that we're going to have in the PDP program for our enrolled kids. Yeah,
Yeah.
Mitin.
We have two questions, so I'll take them.
Sure.
So Anurag, between Christ University and FMR, I would prefer Christ University, and I'm sure you have got into either the main campus, which is Central Campus, even Kengeri campus works, or even if you've got NCR or Lavasa, they are good, they have really good feedback actually. So it's one of the most established names, so that you can definitely look up. Should we focus more on 11th or 12th revision as they focus more on 11th from in my Rohtak interview? Now, it also depends, Kushagra, when the interview started, which direction you gave them to talk about actually. But yes, please understand one thing, and I can figure out that you might be definitely from a science background. Now, most people do not understand this, that your 11th and 12th are connected. The basics, the foundation is done in 11th. So, first of all, considering the time span, माय सजेशन वुड बी 12th बिल्कुल अच्छे से कर लो और फिर 11th के कर लो. दोनों करते हो तो बहुत ही अच्छा है, बट 12th को बिल्कुल 100% एकदम अच्छे से करना वो इंपॉर्टेंट है. रिसेंसी इफेक्ट डेफिनेटली हर जगह आ जाता है. What newspapers, channels, sources should be referred to someone who never had media exposure? Very interesting question, I would say, Shravan, actually. और प्रॉब्लम ये है कि अब न्यूज़पेपर एक्सपोजर लेकर के कुछ होगा नहीं, मतलब आई एम बीइंग वेरी कैंडिड. लेकिन न्यूज़पेपर पढ़ना है, डेफिनेटली पढ़ना है. देखो देखो देखो, कई बार क्या होता है ना, बहुत सिंपलेस्ट ऑफ द क्वेश्चंस, कई बार वो डिपेंड करता है हु इज द पैनल मेंबर, कि डिपेंड करता है वो बहुत सिंपल क्वेश्चन पूछते हैं, आज का हेडलाइन क्या था. तो कई बार ये चीजें होती है, बिकॉज दे ऑल्सो वांट पीपल हु आर नॉट बुकवर्म्स एक्चुअली, दे नो व्हाट्स हैपनिंग अराउंड देम, दे आर अवेयर अबाउट व्हाट्स हैपनिंग, दे कीप देमसेल्फ अवेयर. सो इफ यू आस्क मी, न्यूज़पेपर आप कोई भी पढ़ो इस समय, बिजनेस पेजेस डेफिनेटली पढ़ना, एडिटोरियल डेफिनेटली पढ़ना. But if you want to cover something which has already been there, actually, all this, let's say till yesterday, what has been there, my suggestion would be that go to your nearest magazine shop and get those couple of months current affairs magazines and work upon them actually. So you'll get a lot of information out there. सारी चीजें मिल जाएंगी. I have a personal question. I have an offer letter from Ashoka University with 100% financial aid. I'm preparing for the IIM Indore as well. What, according to you, is an objective better here? I'll definitely ask Gautam's view over here, but I would just want to add over here, Kemas, please understand both the institutions are quite different in their offerings. IIM Indore is offering what is management program. Ashoka University is offering what is called liberal arts. Within that, you have those different subjects which you can specialize upon. Now, this question is, when you answer this question, first of all, you need to have clarity about your goals, your career goals actually. If you are looking forward to, let's say, any subject or any particular program in Ashoka University, let's say economics, you want to do BA Honors Economics out there as part of the liberal arts program, how does economics, BA Honors Economics, helps you in your career planning, in your career goal? That is important. So similarly, does whatever plan you have, does IIM Indore at all comes into picture because of their IPM program or the MBA program? So that is how you need to answer this question, because both the institutions are really good. So you can't be just picking up because somebody told you IIM Indore or somebody says Ashoka is better. You have to understand it from your career perspective. That is important. GB, anything you would like to add?
Yeah, I would just turn around and state, try answering this question after your IIM Indore interview. Don't think of it right now for the next 2.5, 3 weeks. Think, I have nothing in my hand. Prepare as well as possible for your IIM Indore interview. Go ahead, crack it. Only once you crack it, do you have a deliberation? Only once you have the call, do you have to worry about whether A or B. First, work hard to get the call so that the decision is in your hands and it's not made for you. If you don't convert the call, don't get a call, the decision is made for you. You don't want to be in that situation. Be in the situation where you decide. So my first suggestion to you will be, for the next 2 to 3 weeks, forget about it. Think I have no call. Work as hard as possible. Crack this. Ensure that the interview goes well. Crack this. After that, once you've cracked both, feel free to reach out to us as well. We can have a conversation. We can talk to you. We will help. We will try and identify what works best for you. What is your career plan? Basis that, what fits in with you. We'll help you at that point in time. It will be along the lines of what Amit sir stated. The only thing I would state is, let the decision lie in your hand. That's the only part.
Okay, one last question. Do I need to fill the form if I'm a 1 year classroom student, or should I just contact? No, you don't need to go for this program. Please connect with your center admin immediately.
Absolutely.
And before, as I said earlier, all the students, before you submit, all the all the online classes student, connect with Sashwita ma'am, and send your responses to her and me before you submit this. And the classroom students, physical centers पे आप जाते हो, आप इमीडिएटली अपने सेंटर पे बात करो और उनको फॉर्म दिखा करके तब सबमिट करना, एंड दे आर ऑलरेडी प्लानिंग योर इंटरव्यूज, डोंट वरी अबाउट
Sure. Mehak is saying, so if my score is 26 marks above the cutoff, then what might be the ATS according to you? So cutoff is minimum marks. ATS calculation was mentioned, right? 25 into your marks minus minimum by max minus minimum. So you can
that.
just
Yeah,
calculate it by that.
this is how it was. Candidate
Yeah.
score minus minimum score divided by maximum score minus minimum score.
So you can just calculate it yourself. Yeah.
I think GPA have covered everything.
Yep.
So,
Perfect.
so okay, guys. So wonderful to see you all here actually, and I'm sure the next 2 weeks, and in some cases definitely 3 weeks, if you are lucky enough, is something which is going to be a game changer. So don't leave anything to chance. We are there to help you out. Actually, all mentors are there to help you out. So don't any leave anything to chance. Just give your best shot. Just consider इसके अलावा मेरे पास कुछ नहीं है. बस ये सोच करके काम करो कि ये है बस ऑप्शन मेरे पास और इसको किसी भी तरीके से क्रैक करना है. The moment you understand this, I'm sure you are going to do your best in the interview and in the next 2 weeks as well. GP, your final thoughts before we close the session?
Yeah, so just before closing, I will just reach out to one or two things, which is Mehak is saying, so what will be the max score then? So max score has not been announced. Max ATS has been announced. So the way I would turn around and do it is, if I'm 25, 26 marks above the cutoff, I would turn around and state my ATS is going to be somewhere midway between the min and max. That's the way I would look at it. As simple as that, not get too deeper into it. Second is, how can we reach you? I'm from Nagpur CL. Well, we'll put down our numbers. Feel free to reach out to us, but feel free to reach out to Nagpur CL and the center there as well. The mentors there would be able to help you as well. One last thing to put out, something that we already covered, but I just want to turn around and state, you still have 14 to 21 days. Look at it as positively as possible. That is adequate amount of time if you go ahead and work hard enough. That's it. Don't think it's less, don't think it's too much. It is just about enough. If you go ahead, work hard, put your pedal on the accelerator, and just go ahead, put your best foot forward, and you'll do quite well. That's it from ours. All the very best. Do well.
Thank you, GB, and all the best,
Thanks.
everyone. Congratulations for the call, but don't leave
Yeah.
anything to chance. Convert it.
Yep. Feel free. Tada. See ya.